Hello and welcome to our first session of your committee training. My name's Abby and today we're going to be talking about affiliation and memberships, which is really important to the success of your club. I'm going to introduce our team as well and talk a little bit more about the Students' Union itself and how we might work together. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what is affiliation. So a club or society can be recommended for affiliation by the union if it meets a number of requirements which are listed on the screen now. These are just kind of basic rules to make sure that all of our clubs and societies are following exactly the same objectives and are making sure that we abide by all of the university's guidance and all of the guidance to make sure that you and your members are kept as safe as possible. The only things to note from this slide are that a proposed club or society can be denied affiliation by the relevant SU staff member. That rarely happens. The only reason we would ever do that is if you do not meet our requirements. So for example, you are doing activities that are unlawful, that you intrude on another club or society's main objectives, or something similar. So they are kind of the only reasons that we would ever deny affiliation. You can appeal that denial if you wanted to, if that was the case, and again we would discuss that with you nearer the time, so please do contact us if that is the case. We also put a thing in here about charging for membership. It's important that all of our clubs kind of support themselves as well as supporting them through our grants and some of the other financial opportunities that we'll talk about a little bit later on in the training. But it is important to note just from this slide that it is possible to not charge one. So if when you are filling out your affiliation information, if you don't want to charge a membership, please do just state that and we will get in contact with you to discuss that. The final thing on this slide that's really important is that societies must have 10 fully paid up members by the end of their first 2 months of activity. That's really important to make sure that we are continuing to support ARU students and that we are continuing to really push those societies and really push the benefits to all students at ARU. So this slide here kind of explains the basics of being a committee member. And this list is by no means exhaustive. There are lots and lots of things that will be part of your role, but these are the kind of cornerstones of what you'll be doing in your time in the role. So first of all, students are responsible for running societies. You are all committee members. And to be an active society, you must always have a president and treasurer. All societies and clubs must have at least those two positions. The roles are voluntary and should be elected every single year. We do those online. You'll be contacted nearer the time. They're normally around March, April time, and that is to make sure that our clubs and societies are democratically run. Only core ARU students can be society committee members, so if you are lucky enough to have associate members as part of your group, unfortunately they cannot be on your committee. We really want to make sure that we keep these as ARU focused as possible. It's really important to note that each committee role is equal. Societies should be democratic. They're democratic in the way that we do elections, but that also means that they need to be democratic in the way that they are run. You are running this as a committee, you are running it together. There shouldn't be one person that is taking on more or less than everybody else. And finally, as volunteers, committee members can log hours and skills online and be awarded lots of volunteering prizes. And one of our volunteer coordinators will talk a little bit more about that later on. So this next slide just lists a few of the committee roles that you might have in your society. You can see here that we've starred president and treasurer as those two are compulsory positions, and the ones on the right there are just examples of some other roles that you might have. It might be that your committee has more roles than this, or it might be that it has less, you just have a president and treasurer. All of those are absolutely fine. It will really depend on the activities that you want to do. If you are a sports club, it might be that you have some kit officers, it might be that you have a captain for your team. Again, these are all absolutely fine, and we will make sure that you know exactly what you're doing and you get all of the help and support that you need. So this next slide is just a little bit more about the responsibilities that you have as a committee. First of all, you've got a duty to your members to deliver what you have promised in your society's constitution. I'll talk a little bit more about constitutions in the next slide. You also need to make sure that all of your regular attendees are fully paid up members. This means that they are insured by us. So all of our clubs and societies have insurance, and if anything were to happen at any of your meetings, we would be able to make sure that all of your attendees are covered and looked after. So it's really important to make sure that they are fully paid up members. That means they need to be paid up via the Students' Union website. It doesn't mean that they can just be part of the Facebook group or the WhatsApp group. We really need to make sure they're signing up officially. It's important that you stay in contact with each other and work together. As I've said before, you are a committee, you are running this group together, so it's really important that you stay in touch with each other regularly. We also need to make sure that you're consistently attending forums. That's another great way to stay in touch with other committees. If you cannot make those forums, please do send apologies. We'll explain a little bit more about those later on, but just for some guidance early on, Those forums happen once a month, and they are essentially an all committee member meeting, and it's a really, really good place to share your successes, to share events that you've got coming up, and for us to share any opportunities for you. The next one is to keep in touch with your coordinator. So every single society will be given a coordinator who works full-time at the SU, and they are there to support you year round with all of the events that you would like to run, with any support you need in organisation, all of those sorts of things. Those coordinators are there to be supportive, are there to really, really champion you and your society, so please do stay in regular contact with them. If you do not know your coordinator, please get in touch with us via one of the addresses below, and we'll be able to let you know who your coordinator is and put you in touch with the right people. And the last one I've mentioned here is all about upholding the values of the Students' Union and working within our regulations. You'll be able to access our student committee hub, so you'll be able to see all of the information that you need, and also our handbook, and all of those values and regulations will be in there. It's important that you have a working knowledge of those, just to make sure that your activities remain within those, and that we are keeping your students and members as safe as possible. So I mentioned in the last slide that I was going to talk a little bit more about societies' constitutions and what that might be. Some of you may have already signed one of these if you are a society that's already in play, and they are essentially a document which is signed by your society's committee, which details what your aims are and how your society will run. This document is really, really helpful for us because it just makes sure that we know exactly what you're hoping to achieve in the year and what your members should expect from you. Every single committee will need to fill out their constitution at the beginning of each year, whether you are a new or returning society. So if you are a committee member that's just joined an already active society, it might be that yours has already done one. Please do ask to see it, and make sure that you are familiar with what it says. One of the reasons that we have these societies' constitutions is all about our refund policy. So members are eligible for a refund if they have joined a society which becomes inactive or does not deliver on the aims all laid out in their society's constitution. So it's really important that you are setting yourself realistic goals when you set this up, and that members know exactly what they're expecting. It's also important to note here, again we'll talk about this later in finance, but refunds for events can only be given if the event does not take place. So the next slide is about what to do if things do go wrong. Obviously we hope that that doesn't happen, we hope that your experience is really, really positive, but it's important to know that these things are in place. First of all, I really want to highlight that being a committee member should be a really positive and rewarding experience. You are giving up your time freely to do this, so we want to make sure it's as positive for you as is possible. We would never ever expect you to put your society role ahead of your studies or your well-being. If you do believe that your role is starting to have an impact on that, please do let us know, and we will make sure to put you in touch with the right people or to offer you that extra support to make sure that your role is shared amongst others. If at any point in the year you aren't feeling 100% in your role, if you're feeling a little bit nervous or you're not feeling as confident, please do speak to us. We will have that conversation with you in confidence. We are here to support you. It's also important to note that committees are made up of lots of different personality types, and everybody will have their own way of doing things, so it's important that you continue to work together, that you adapt to your different working styles, and that you make sure that you're working as collaboratively as possible. In the event if someone isn't fulfilling their role or your committee aren't getting along, please do contact your coordinator. We can mediate those discussions and we can help get you back on track. That is what we're there to do. So please do tell us nice and early. So as students, you will be subject to ARU's Student Code of Conduct. You will have signed that in your registration. But as committee members, you are also subject to the Clubs and Societies Code of Conduct, and you can find this on the committee hub. If a committee member or a group are found to breach this code of conduct, they will be subject to the Student Opportunities Complaints and Disciplinary Procedure. So please do familiarise yourself with that code of conduct, and please do make sure that your members are also aware of its contents. So the next thing we're going to talk about is memberships. Society memberships must be purchased from either your page on the website, each of you will have a page, and we'll talk a little bit more later about how you can update those. Or you can come to the SU front desk, so that is in the ground floor of Peter Taylor House in Cambridge and the first floor of the Tyndall building in Chelmsford. These desks are cashless, so please only pay on debit card, and that is the best way to do that. And you can also join societies at Freshers or Refreshers Fair. As I've mentioned earlier, but it is important for me to just say again, you are responsible for making sure that all students attending your meeting are fully paid up members. So as I've said, that doesn't mean just members of your WhatsApp group or members of any kind of social media platform. They must be officially signed up as well. If you've got any individuals who turn up regularly who haven't paid their membership, please do speak to us. We can help you reach out to that person and make sure that they are signposted to where they can purchase their membership. If you are a sports club, your students are required to pay £5 extra for activities insurance. This is a one-time payment and covers you for all of our SU sports clubs that you can then join. So for example, if you want to join our dance team and also our ice skating club, you would only need to pay that £5 once. It's just an extra level of insurance, as obviously those clubs do have a little bit more risk associated. I've already mentioned, but again, I'll just reiterate that you will need to have 10 members by the end of your first 2 months of activity to remain affiliated. So for example, we just put here, if you started in September, in August you would need to have 10 members by the end of October. It's also really important that as a committee member you must also purchase your membership. Again, that is to make sure that you are covered by our insurance, so please do make sure you do that as soon as possible. The next type of member is an associate member, so you might find that people who are not students at ARU might want to join your society, and that's absolutely okay. They could be a lecturer, a member of staff at ARU, they could be a member of staff at the Students' Union, they could be a local resident in the city where your club or society is based, a student at another university, lots and lots of different types of people might want to join you. The only thing they cannot be is under 18 or from an external or company offering you sponsorship, so trying to sell you stuff that you don't want. We really want to make sure that people are joining you for the right reasons and that they are really going to benefit you and your members. It is important to state here that societies can have 1 associate member for every 10 ARU student members, so a society of 60 members could have 6 associate members. This next slide is just about the process of how those people would join. So if someone contacts you wanting to join your society, they need to fill out our associate membership form, and you can see the link for that below. And this is then sent to the SU team for approval, so your coordinator will get to see that form and get to see what's written. They'll double check that you've got enough members, making sure that they want to join for the right reasons, and then they will send that to you as a committee, and the final choice is up to you. It's totally your decision about whether they join your society. You might decide that you would rather keep it as just an ARU student-based society. Again, that's up to you. Once you've made that decision, you can get in contact with your coordinator, and we will contact them and ask them to come in and see us to pay for their membership. So I'm very aware we've just fired a lot of information at you, but I just wanted to recap what we've talked about in these first few slides. As I mentioned, you will have your own designated coordinator who is committed to supporting you all year round, so if there's anything in these slides that you would like a little bit more clarification on, or you would like a little bit more information on, please do let us know and we will get in touch with you. So just to recap, groups aren't affiliated as soon as they submit a startup form. You need to go through our official affiliation process. To be a registered society with us, you must meet the terms of affiliation. And you must have a president and treasurer to remain active. So those are kind of the key parts of running a society. Being a committee member is a voluntary role and should be a positive experience. We are here to help you do that. So please do let us know if there is ever a time where you feel it like it is negatively impacting you. As students and committee, you will need to follow all of our code of conduct. So I mentioned there it's the student code of conduct and our clubs and societies code of conduct. Again, please familiarise yourself with those when you get a chance to. You will need to fill out a constitution, and this outlines what your members can expect from your society, and you will need to update that every single year. Societies need to have 10 members within 2 months of activity to remain affiliated. So as we said earlier, if you started in August, you would need to have 10 members by the end of October. So it's important to make sure you're keeping an eye on those membership numbers. Your members are those who have got their membership through the SU, so that's the official channel. If they haven't purchased a membership, even if it's a free one, they are not a member. So please do encourage all of the students attending your meetings to go and get their official membership. Committee members will also need to purchase their official membership, so please do that after this training if you've not done so already. Associate members, you can have 1 associate member for every 10 student members, so we will double check that with you. Again, if you would like any more information on that process, or you have somebody that would like to join, please do let us know, and we can try and get that sorted for you as soon as possible. Your coordinator and the wider Student Opportunities team, we are all here to support you all year round, so please do contact us. We are here to support you in event planning, we're here to support you when things go wrong, we're here to support you when things go right, so really please do keep in touch with us, and remember that we are here to champion you and to make sure that your experience is as positive as possible. So that's everything in this section. Have a look through again if you need to, and when you're ready, please do take the quiz below to test your knowledge.